Sequel to the consultations with all stakeholders in the country recently, the federal government has vowed to treat anybody caught in spreading hate speeches in the country as a terrorist. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo, who handed down the threat at the opening ceremony of the National Economic Council retreat on national security in Abuja, says government is tired of series of hate speeches going on around the country, adding that Nigeria has been beclouded with incitements capable of jeopardizing existing peaceful coexistence in the country.
We cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created the problems in the first place. This is a challenge to all of us to confront these matters with utmost seriousness, because the problems we face as a nation are not static, but instead they continue to evolve. Our thinking and our solutions for them must also be equally dynamic, to take into account the peculiar realities of the 21st century. Against this backdrop, the question we should be asking ourselves as governments, especially as chief security officers in our states or as law enforcement agents, is how can we take advantage of these same tools and technology to stay permanently ahead of those who seek to wield them to create mischief and cause terror and fear and bloodshed. Of course, one of the reasons why the National Economic Council is so important is because the framers of our Constitution recognize that the federal government alone cannot solve Nigeria's security or economic challenges.
The Chief Justice of the Federation, Walter Onoge, and the Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Abdulaziz Yari, in their separate remarks, called for synergy among the security agencies to fortify existing security architecture of the country.
Our commitment to ensuring that things are done differently and in an improved manner, our commitment to having a better Nigerian society where peace and justice reigns. And I want to tell you also that though we always say that there are two sides to a coin, in reality there are three sides to a coin. And in our situation, in terms of what we have and where we found ourselves today, it is my personal view that insecurity, corruption, and impunity are the three sides of the same coin, which ought to be taken together holistically if we have to move the country forward. I want us to think about that. And to carry this through, we need the commitment of every Nigerian, particularly the Nigerian on the street, who feels one way or the other deprived of one thing or the other, rightly or wrongly, could be imaginary, but he ought to be attended to. Where he's pointing out as where his problems are coming may not necessarily be the source of his problems, but it is necessary for us to look in that direction.
The issue of security is a primary responsibility of government to secure properties, life of the citizens, and it's a collective responsibility by all, those that are in here and those that are outside. From the side of governors, where I know very well, we are doing our best, and the security chiefs can testify to that. We have been shouldering so many responsibilities of logistics in our respective states. We have been engaged in the security on performing their part of responsibility as the watchdog of people.
The secession threat from members of the indigenous people of Biafra and the counter-quit notice issued to Igbos in the northern part of the country forced the acting president to meet stakeholders from the two regions few weeks ago. But the inability of the parties involved in the threat to sheath their sword made it inevitable for government to organize this retreat. The interface between the federal government, the state governors, and indeed the critical players of the national security sector is geared towards implementing the innovative thinking and talking which have been the crux of the country's security narratives. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroge Nefifen for Ben Television.
As Nigeria prepares for 2019 general election, which have been announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the country's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, said with the peace and unity in the party, they are ready to take over power come 2019. PDP had been in government since 1999 to 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari from the opposition party, the All Progressive Congress, defeated the then incumbent president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, to take over the seat of power. Since then, PDP had been faced with crisis, which had led many of its supporters and members leaving the party to other political parties. With the non-elective convention the party held in Abuja after the Supreme Court affirmed Ahmed Magrafi as the authentic chairman of the party against Ahmadu Sharif, Ben TV sampled opinions from the party members regarding the future of the party.
This is the first convention the party is holding since 2015 as PDP. No factions exist in PDP again, so the people are very elated. And for us, it is very instructive because it has afforded us the opportunity to start organizing again towards 2019. Because Nigerians have seen the difference between PDP and the APC government. Honestly, it's like
the great party PDP is finding its wings. You know, is finding its wings, preparing to, like an eagle, to soar once more. Because the wings have been clipped for some time. So it's training the wings. You know, when a bird wants to fly, you know,
this is what is known as a vibrant opposition. This is Nigeria is back at it again with democracy. You will agree with me what is happening here today is a sign that 2019 we are coming back there. And not only that, it's good to have cracks in the family, but it's also good to talk. It's also good to dialogue. And what we have with Senator McAfee, national chairman, is exceptional. He's a straightforward person, calm and collected, and he's not working based on impunity.
It is important to know that even when you have an APC government in power, there is need for viable opposition. Because without the criticism, the government will not wake up. And it is important that the opposition thrives. That is the only way we can have democracy. In any dictatorship, you have the judiciary, you have the executive, but what shows democracy, of course, is this opposition, and of course the parliament, the legislature.
No doubt the last 2 years have been the greatest test that our great party has faced. The loss of the 2015 presidential election, the gale of defections that ensued, and the leadership crisis that fractionalized the party were enough to sink the PDP ship. That the party survived this baptism of fire is an eloquent testimony to the resiliency of its grassroots structure, organization, and appeal.
What do you think? What do you think? After 2 years of killing, murder, mass murder, destruction, lies, deceit, abductions, blood, and poverty and shame, and a president that has been with us for only 300 out of 600 days, and you're asking me, am I sure? Can't you see what's happening here? We finally got our party back. Osun State we're taking next year. We'll take Ekiti next year. 2019 we take Nigeria back. End of story.
By all indices, they have not done very well. So the choice is very clear in 2019. And so I don't expect, I think the opposition, well, the ball is in our court. We have to get ourselves totally ready with the right candidates. But the support is there, you can see that. So PDP is ready. Once we get the right candidates, we are ready for 2019. that PDP will rule for 50 years. What we just have is just a small hiccup. But to come to 2019, it will come up again.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan, other leaders in the party at the convention, said it's good that Nigeria have tested both parties and will stand to make their choice come 2019.
So far, I was told that some people were insinuating that if PDP had stayed in power, the economy would have been worse off, and I laughed. We had a strong team that was managing the economy of this country. That is not a talk for today, but definitely we'll talk one day. And we are now very ready to present ourselves for the 2019 general election. We are ready to take over the State House of Assembly. We are ready to take over the House of Representatives. We are ready to take over Senate. We are ready to have more governors. And we are ready to take over the presidency. I thank you all.
The BDP is now a religion, a belief that we are going back to our villa. I'm going there. I don't know how many of you will be ready to follow me, but I'm going to defeat.
APC promised Nigerians a positive change, but you and I can see today that nothing hopeful about the party. And so what is happening to do is to give Nigerians another hope that PDP in 2019, when they take over the reins of affairs at national level, Nigeria will begin to see positive changes. Nigeria will begin to see a country that will have a proposal leadership. Nigeria will begin to see a party that means well for them, not a party that is so deceitful, a party of propaganda, a party of intimidating people, a party that does not want the rule of law.
Nigerians may wonder, what has PDP got? Well, what are you getting now? Are you not hungry? Are you not jobless? Are you not unsecured? My God. Pray for PDP to come back. This will be history.
And for us in the PDP, we are particularly happy that the party within the 16 years it ruled Nigeria was able to build not just institutions of government but also institutions of democracy. And Nigerians are beginning to appreciate.
It's that Nigerians have had the opportunity of experiencing another party governed at the national level. They can now compare and contrast.
We are sure of victory because people are fed up with the government of the day. Thank God we are on our way to victory.
The party is expected to hold its elective convention in November this year as the tenure of the National Working Committee expires. In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
Lovely place, right?
Yes.
What's wrong? You don't look happy.
Take a look around. Why can't my hotel be like this?
I knew something was wrong, but I've got solution.
Solution? What?
Nanit.
Nanit?
Nanit offers you design solutions, building plans and construction, furnishing and equipping, financing, management, audit services, and many more services for a better hospitality business. Nanit, service with a smile.
Former Director of Civil Society and Support Group during Goodluck Jonathan re-election presidential campaign, Professor Nick Eze, has revealed the reasons why his party failed in the last general election in 2015. Professor Nick, in an exclusive interview with Ben TV in Abuja, said his party was not campaigning to win, and it also failed to reconcile with aggrieved members of the party before the elections.
If a party fails to democratize its process, that party is doomed to fail. We are coming from the background of political high-handedness, impunity in office, abuse of process, and then undue favoritism. But amongst all, what kills democracy of PDP style was lack of internal democracy. So it started in 2013, was the latest, when the party had a mini convention and failed to allow its members to contest offices. Election is a contest. So when you want to go into election, you must allow party members to contest for positions. Party failed to reconcile aggrieved members all over the country. Okay, and then these aggrieved members, most of them opted for opposition arrangements. And then the remaining members were also engulfed by party high-handedness.
While answering questions on whether his party run a corrupt government, which many Nigerians complained during the last administration, he said,
well, the issue of corruption by Nigerian definition, I don't agree. That definition of corruption. Look, we are running a corruption economy. Does not mean that the average Nigerian is corrupt. No. I will explain it. I've given this the topic. We run a corruption economy that we inherited from British system. And that is the system that we are running. It's called a corruption economy. But it works for us. Americans call it tips. You understand? But here we call it bribery. There's nothing like corruption. Because what is corruption? If a man has stolen money, he's simply a thief. You say he's corrupt. He's not corrupt. He's a thief. If he has embezzled money, he's a thief. It's not corruption. Okay, if you have done things that you are not supposed to do, there are names of every action you take. But here we have magnified these things and bring them under the umbrella of corruption.
Professor Nick, who spoke on the calls for restructuring, said the country should start the process of drafting a new constitution to address most challenges it's facing.
There have been attempts to amend the constitution at the National Assembly. I think there was one that was led by Senator Ken Namani. Then another one was led by Senator Ike. And then you have this one now. At every point you want to amend the constitution, people don't understand what you are doing. Let us amend this constitution. Let's leave this constitution as it is and begin a process of drafting new constitution for the country. Because some of the things contained in this constitution, we cannot amend them. They've been overtaken by events. Development has caught up with most things. So we need brand new constitution, leaving this one the way it is, start the process of making a new constitution that could be adopted through a referendum.
In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
As more Nigerians continue to react to the National Assembly position on devolution of power to state, elder statesman Chief Edwin Clark has appealed to the federal lawmakers to reconsider the devolution of power to state in the ongoing constitutional amendment process. Edwin Clark made a call in a chat with journalists in Abuja. He said the demand for the restructure of Nigeria is on the lips of every Nigerian.
Let us appeal to all of them. They're all Nigerians. Religion should not have any place to play. Ethnicity should have any place to play. Let us take it for granted that what happened was the responsibility of the entire National Assembly. So we should appeal to all Nigerians, whether from the north or from the south, in the National Assembly to put Nigeria first. And it will be better for them if they now look back home to see that what do we have to offer to our people. You can imagine education. With the amount of local government, with the amount of states they have, they have not been able to educate a number of the children. What do you have to offer to your children? I think this is the most important thing. What development will you have? So it's not a question of religion or ethnicity. So I do not agree with you that those who voted for devolution of power were mainly from the south. We are appealing to all of them, whether from the south or from the north, to revisit their decision and reverse it in the interest of Nigeria.
Edwin Clark asked the National Assembly to put behind them the issue of religion and ethnicity and to see to the advancement of the country. He explained that the devolution of power to the state will lead to rest the series of agitation in the country.
They will revisit it. That's what Nigerians want. So my advice to them is that ethnicity, religion, personal feelings, selfishness should not be mixed with the amendment of the Constitution, which is the most superior law in Nigeria. You cannot amend the Constitution every day. Let the members of the House reason like Nigerians. The demand for the restructuring of Nigeria is all over the country. So they cannot be indifferent to it. If people like prominent men who have ruled this country, like IBB, like Babangida, people like Atiku, and Bulabi Musa, and even they have said, the governor, the APC, which had it in their manifesto, have said they are not opposed to restructuring. What they are looking for, the definition of restructuring. They know it. All we are saying, let us revert to 1963 Constitution, Republican Constitution. So my advice to them is that they should put Nigeria first before their personal interests.
The move for devolution of power to state suffered setback at the both Senate and the House of Representatives as lawmakers did not vote to support the move. From Abuja, Nigeria, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.